Hey everyone, welcome back to Haki Lessons to analyse another deck archetype for set 1 of the One Piece card game, Romance Dawn. And this time we are looking at the Straw Hats. There are 3 leader cards for the Straw Hat Pirates: Luffy from the starter deck, Zoro from the set, and Luffy from the set. The starter deck Luffy's ability is to attach a rested Don to your leader or one of your characters, and this ability is useful in having your cake and eating it too, by using your Don to play something but still being able to power something up. Zoro's ability is Don times 1. All of your characters get plus 1000 during your turn. This ability is at its best value with a board full of characters. Instead of putting a Don card on each of them to power them up, you just get the same result for just one Don. The Luffy from the set is multicolor, which means it has 1 less life than the others, but on the plus side, you do get to use 2 colors. Today's video is only going to talk about the Straw Hat specific cards, which means only red. But in the next video, I will be going over the worst generation cards, and in a later video, I will combine what we've talked about in this video and in the worst generation video, and we'll talk about red-green strategies for the Luffy leader and also the Law leader. But back to looking at the Luffy leader, his ability is for the cost of 4 Don, you can restand one of your 5 cost or lower Straw Hat or Supernova characters and give them plus 1000, allowing them to attack again. Very useful aggression, especially if you have a strong card like Yamato. Like a lot of other card games, this one has taken the logical color theory route and made red the aggressive color. Therefore, we have plenty of cards with the keyword Rush. In the starter deck are Sanji and Luffy. Sanji, at a cost of 2, only gets Rush if he has 2 Don attached, while Luffy, at a cost of 5, already has Rush, and for 2 Don attached, he can't be blocked. Luffy's good in general, but Sanji is more ideal with the leader being the starter deck Luffy, or as a budget alternative, because in the set there is an SR Zoro. Zoro just costs 3 and he has 5000 power and doesn't rely on Don attached to be having the rush. You can attach 1 Don and then make him 6000, and then that will be the equivalent cost for the same thing that Sanji is. So Zoro is much better, but he is an SR, so he will be harder to get. So Sanji is the budget option. And then there is this Luffy promo that costs 6 and has 7000 power, but he only gets a Rush with 2 Don attached. I do not think this is good. Why use this when you can use the starter deck Luffy, attach an extra Don to make it the same power and the same amount of Don effectively spent, and you get past blockers as well. Anyway, you have to be careful in your deck building not to include too many of these rush cards, as none of them have any counter power, so you'll be quite defenseless if you have a handful of these. And keep that in mind still, because there are a couple more cards that don't have rush and also have no counter. Zoro and Jinbei are from the starter deck, and Zoro costs 3, has 5000 power with the ability Don times 1, he gets an extra 1000 power on top of that. And Jinbei also costs 3 with 5000 power, but instead of giving himself an extra 1000 like Zoro, he gives one of your other characters 1000. But neither of them have counter power. And blockers don't have counter power either, but in some cases they are better used as a block than a counter anyway. So we've got 2 Straw Hat blockers. We have Chopper from the starter deck, costs 1. And then there's Jinbei from the set, costs 4, and when he blocks with a Don attached, he can also play a 2 cost or less for free. So to make up for all these cards without counter, there are a few cards with 2000 counter power that we can use. Brook is from the starter deck and has 3000 power with the on-play ability to give 2 rested Don to one of your characters or leader. Usopp costs 2 for 3000 power, with his ability letting you draw a card if your opponent activates an event card during your turn while he has a Don attached. That ability will be great against a deck like Baroque Works, or in situations that it's clear that your opponent is waiting to use an event, but otherwise he might be more valuable in your hand as a 2k counter. Sanji also costs 2 with 3000 power, and he has the ability to take a life to give himself 2000 power for the turn and 2 Rested Don. A risky move when using the multicolor leader, and yet at the same time it's good value in that green gives you ways to restand it and take advantage of the power boost twice. And then there's this promo Luffy with a cost of 3 for 3000 power, and he gets an extra 2k for Don times 2. There is a good combination in using Brook and Robin. So Brook costs 4 and has 5000 power. Don times 1, when attacking 2 of your opponent's character cards, get minus 2000 power for the turn. And then you attack with Robin. Robin has 4000 power and costs 3. Don times 1, KO one of your opponent's characters with 3000 power or less. And something that may have had more than 3000 power and would have been safe from Robin now falls into her range thanks to Brook. Of course, Luffy is our captain and there is a few more cards to go over for him. This SR costs 2 for 3000 power, and with 2 Don attached, it cannot be KO'd by strike attribute cards. Now, this is pretty much the only card there is so far that mentions attributes, so it's worth pointing to them on the card right now. Top right corner, and as it were, Luffy has the strike attribute himself, and he has the ability to attach 2 Rested Don to himself once per turn. This promo card has Luffy in his Onigashima outfit and costs 4 for 5000 power, and like the SR, it has the ability to not be killed by strike cards, this time for 1 Don. The advantage in using this card is on your opponent's turn, as it's still as strong, but otherwise, I think that the SR is better. A card that I think is very good value is the starter deck Nami. This card can just sit on your board and use her activate main every turn to attach a Rested Don to your leader or one of your characters, which is the same skill as the Luffy leader, so this either gives you more Don in the Luffy deck, or gives the ability to any other red deck, which is why I think this card will be a mainstay in red decks for a while. And speaking of Nami, she is in the set acting as a searcher, which is always an important early game play to find what you need for the rest of the game. Costs 1 to look at the top 5 cards of your deck and grab any Straw Hat besides Nami. No restrictions on cost and can find event cards as well. Plus, she has 2000 power, so though she may sit on the board after that for a while, if you need to, it won't take too much to power up to be good for an attack. For more searching, we have this card that does the same as Nami, with the only advantage over her being that if it's hit in life, it can be triggered. Rounding up on character cards, there is Usopp, which can be played on trigger and gets past stronger blockers, and Robin and Frankie are skillless, commonly referred to as vanillas. Going through the remaining event cards, the counters are Guard Point, Green Star, and Radical Beam. These cards do pretty similar things, but my preference is to use Radical Beam. It only really has better value than the others if you are at 2 or less life, but generally I'll save cards like this for when the game's at that point anyway. It will come down to your playstyle. And also for a cost of 2, so it's a little bit more expensive, but is much more powerful, is the Gum Gum Red Hawk. Gives 4k power for the battle, and then KOs one of your opponent's cards with 4k or less. And on trigger, it will reduce a card by 10k, making it effectively too weak to attack that turn. Activate main cards, there's Diable Jambe, which prevents blockers from working. Jet Pistol kills a character with 6000 power or less, and I Can Smell Adventure puts your hand back and draws a new one. And of course, a vital part of the Straw Hat Pirates, there is the Thousand Sunny. This field card costs 2 and can be rested to give one of your cards 1000 power. And that is it for the Straw Hat archetype. Obviously, the red-green Luffy leader can use green cards, and we didn't go over any green cards today, so make sure to subscribe to the channel because coming soon I will be doing a video like this for the worst generation, and then a third video will combine the red and the green cards to talk about the 2 leaders that can use them both, Luffy and Trafalgar Law. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to see those videos when they come out, follow me on Twitter at HackyLessons, and I'll see you then.